Node 564560 connected to Node 564562.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the '08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airwaves with digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater Cougar Mountain, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, a little bit of history of our group, and also you'll find a link that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we simulcast our audio on our sister 2-meter station, WW7ATS 147.08 is the frequency, with a tone of 103.5. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7 YM. Well, welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Signed into the net already is Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is anybody else wishing to check in? And no response, so let's start off with Richard, K7ITX, Jim.
Okay. This is Richard, K7ITX, mobile. Just getting into the home base right now. I'm on my phone, but next time around I'll be shortwave radio 2-meter. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks with that. Let's pick up Jim in Covington, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Right as I turned on my television receiver, I saw Bob. Looked like he was in his car, probably en route to somewhere like a beach or something. I wonder what artifacts he may find there today. Let's see. So, man, today it was storming by my house. My wife and I were sitting there, and there's this brilliant flash, and it's like we both looked at each other. What was that? And then all of a sudden, kaboom! Thunder, and it was close to us, so it made a lot of noise. We had a pretty fair amount of rain today. I can't really say that anything was big drops. There are some. It came down rather furiously, but they were like small drops. At any rate, everything is wet out here. Not complaining about that. I'm just happy it's not snowing. Right now I've got 55 degrees here, just south of Covington. Other than that, I was doing stuff around the house today. It turned out to be a good day to stay inside. It is not raining now, and I would guess it's probably done for the night by my house. But anyway, back to you, Dave, N7QO.
Node 35240.
N7QO, thanks with that. Let's see if we can pick up James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Okay, Dave, give me a second. Let me see if I can synchronize.
WU7N. WU7N. Okay, I think I've got pretty good audio coming over on 2 meters right now. I was waiting for the thunder and the lightning because it was in the forecast. But all we got was rain. Got a pretty good soaking, though. I could really see it after it stopped. I went out and took a walk up and down some hills, and it was pretty darn wet out there, certainly on the top of my car. So let's see. Other than that, wow, it's been kind of a laid-back day for me, and not too much exciting happened Friday or Thursday either. I have been enjoying working with these little tiny boards. So far, I've just explored them with a voltometer, but I look forward to getting an Adreno, or perhaps my new frequency counter has a pulse output function on it, and supposedly you can pulse these up to 20 kilohertz, which doesn't quite get you into the lowest band. Trivia question for the group tonight: what's the lowest amateur radio band? That's one that a lot of hams don't even know it exists. So let's see what else here. Had an interesting computer problem trying to do business with a company up in Canada. I've done business with them before. Their website, it was all messed up. I couldn't get the website to work. But I finally connected with a live person there after trading messages with them. And they said, no, there's nothing wrong at our end. Everything's fine. So I tried different browsers and turning my virtual private network on and off, and couldn't get it to function. So we'll see if Monday by noon, if it magically starts working again. I suspect they need to turn everything off and turn everything on again. But we'll see. So that's all the excitement here that is news. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue, pushing the big off switch right now.
WU7N. Thanks with that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Boy, I was disappointed. I was going to get out and run some errands this afternoon, but the weather forecast had said we were going to have thunderstorms and rain. Well, we didn't get any rain in Lake City. We didn't get any booms in the sound waves, and no lightning. So anyway, I was inside sheltering in place and didn't get to experience any of that. But that's about what's happened with me today. And likewise, I've got 55 degrees and semi-cloudy outside.
We lost your audio, Dave.
Okay, let's try again. We're trying for Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Once again to Bob, K9PQ. Well, welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Unable to make contact with Bob, K9PQ. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX. What say you, Richard?
Okay, well, my video just crashed. I don't know why the heck it did that. I didn't do anything extraordinary. Let's see if I can bring it back up. What? Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. Give it a minute or a second or two. Yeah, I think. Aha. Okay. Let's see. Just gotta get maybe on the screen a little bit. Make an adjustment here. All right. Yeah, and then turn it down a little bit. Yeah, I just got in the shack, so some of my fine-tuning work wasn't able to do. Looks like I'm getting a picture across the air. I just see myself. All right. Okay. Well, I've been a busy boy today, and Covington Jim. I think I heard that big crash, or at least I heard one. I want to say probably right around. Paying attention to the time, but it was a biggie, and it wasn't in my neighborhood, but I would suspect it might have been the one you're talking about. Anyway, yeah, and man, we had some big drops, that's for sure. So, and then I drove to Tacoma, had to drive. Oh, there goes my video. I don't know what happened there. The stream failed. Okay, well, okay. Anyway, I'll just go on with the story. I ended up going to a graduation party in Tacoma. Interesting enough, in the party room where we had our Easter dinner, in the same complex where Ron and Joanne live, and it was well attended and a lot of good victuals. So I ate very good, and it was fun to go to a high school graduation. Oh my God, it was really. And it was real cute. Nice slideshow about how he grew up from as a little baby throughout life. So that was really a lot of fun. And then got back into I love riding in the Mustang. It drove me home, I like to say, safely. And here I am talking to you guys. So. A good, fun afternoon. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Lowest amateur radio band, Jim. I remember that they added one. I don't remember what it is. I know that it was below anything that I've got. I've got two rigs here. 160 meters is as low as they go. I remember that the new band is something below that, but I don't have a transmitter that will do that. And for that matter, I'm not even sure my antenna tuner will work that low. I don't remember what the frequency was, though. You'll have to enlighten us and tell us. Is there anything there worth listening to? Just curious there. Dick, yeah, that big kaboom. I don't remember exactly what time it was either. I think it was later than noon, but I'm not 100% sure. I want to say maybe 4 o'clock. What was I doing around noon? I don't remember. Anyway, it could very well have been. It sounds like you were probably closer to the storm than I was, though, with big drops coming down on you. There were just little drops by my house, but there were lots of them. Everything's definitely soaking wet now. It should be good for a few days without any difficulty. And let's see, graduation party in Tacoma, where Ron and I think it's your sister-in-law are. That's great. You're talking about driving the Mustang. That's good. Don't know if they got it entirely fixed yet. I may have missed a net where you mentioned that. But that made me think, just within the past day or two, I saw something on the news about a Waymo. It was empty. It did not have any passengers in it, and it was somewhere in Texas. It kind of got in the way of some fire trucks trying to respond to an incident. It just I don't know. There's work afoot to replace pilots in airliners. I'm just not sure it's ready for prime time yet. For that matter, even on the ground, not quite ready. Close, but not quite there yet. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. And let's go pick up James, WU7 Northeast Bellevue.
Okay, synchronizing now.
WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Okay, finally. That took a long time. I must have pushed the wrong button. Richard, it sounds like you had a very special high school celebration going there. And glad it went well, and the drive went well in the Corvette. Well, here I'll show you, actually. I realized I have a graphic to show everyone tonight. I was kind of interested in this because the little boards I'm playing with go up to, can be pulse width modulated up to 20 kilohertz. And so here's the band right there. It's the 630 meter band, and then there's also a 2,200 meter band. And the 2,200 meter band is 135.7 kilohertz, and the 630 meter band is 472 kilohertz. So my little boards can't quite go that high. I would have to use some sort of a doubler circuit in there to try and get them up there. The interesting thing is you have to register with the Utilities and Technology Council, which I've never even heard of before, but I assume Utility companies must use this a lot. Your maximum effective radiated power is 1 watt, and it goes up to 5 watts on 630 meters, and this is odd unless you're within 496 miles of Russia. And then all of a sudden you go down to 1 watt of effective radiated power. So I have no idea what you really do on this band. I suspect it's for experimenting on data transmission, because that would be a good thing for utilities to do. After all, they have the longest antennas in the world, stretching all the way from the wherever the power's made all the way to your home. So that would be a pretty good radiator. Matter of fact, if they're really snagging data along the way using that as the transmission medium, is that really even is that really using radio, or is it landline? That's kind of a philosophical question, isn't it? Well, anyway, I just found that interesting, and maybe this is why I was kind of puzzled with these little boards. This is the. I should have waited. These were about $1 each. They took forever to get here, and by the time they got here, Carlos told me about one that has 2 big old MOSFETs in there, and about the same price. But they only go up, if you pulse width modulate them, they only go up to about 20 kilohertz. So I was thinking, I was looking at these things, and thinking, why are these $1 if you get essentially the same kind of board off Amazon with has nothing but an opto isolator in it? It doesn't have the power MOSFET, or in the case of Carlos's boards, they have 2 giant power MOSFETs and almost twice the current carrying capacity of this little board right here. And I thought, well, maybe those optical isolator only boards, maybe they can turn on and off faster, which would give you the ability maybe to get into these bands. There is other technology other than optical isolation that switches much faster even than the opto isolators, and they certainly could get in there. So anyway, just thoughts, just playing with ideas and playing with toys here. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. You are control. Dave, I'll go ahead and push the big off switch.
WU7N, thanks with that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. Again, I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, I'm going to see if our buddy missing up in Oak Harbor, Bob, K9PQ, is available at this point. Well, unable to raise Bob, K9PQ. So let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Well, darn it, yeah, I wish we could make connection with Bob, but I guess he's not available. Anyway, and my video stream keeps failing, so maybe it'll pop up, I don't know. But anyway, James, it's very interesting, these different frequencies you're talking about. It reminded me when I got super curious about the frequencies, the super low frequencies required to communicate with the submarines, the United States submarines, and how the military does that. And after some research, I did find an antenna array that was, hundreds of yards long, out. It's in western Washington. It's kind of interesting. I'm struggling to get my video on, but I don't know. It's just for some reason it just won't come up. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. If anyone's really interested, I don't remember the exact location. I want to say North Cascades. There's this huge, just monstrous antenna that's cut through the timberland, and like I say, it's hundreds of yards. And this is, my understanding is used to communicate with the submarines. Now, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I just remember getting into this and discovering some of this stuff. So it is. It makes me want to look for it again. It's basically what you do is you get the logistics somehow when you Google, and then when you get the coordinates, you can literally find through Google Earth a view, a satellite view of what I'm talking about, and it's extremely interesting, and it's not very far from where we live. So isn't that wild? So anyway, oh yeah, and by the way, Cummington Jim, the car got fixed very nicely, perfect job. The car's just like brand new. And interesting enough, there's a radar module that had to be replaced. That's in the rear driver's side quarter panel, and then of course it had to be synchronized and coordinated after they replaced it. So, but they did a fine job, and the car drove itself just good, changed lanes perfectly without my handling, and I'm very pleased. So with that, K7 ITX, back to Net Control.
K7 ITX, thanks for that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, thanks for mentioning that. 630 meters and 2,200 meters. Holy cow! It's. I'll tell you. There's a band from about 200 kcs to 400 kcs, which was for ADF. And actually ships use those things as well. So this looks like a little area below that band and an area just above that band. Interesting. Don't know much about that. 1 watt, 5 watts. I would imagine at those frequencies it wouldn't get you a lot of range, so I'm not sure of the application. I'm sure there's some special reason why those bands were requested, but don't know the application. I'll have to Google that and see if maybe that could enlighten me any. And Dave, yeah, I saw a picture of Bob. It looked like he was in his car driving. I only saw him for about 5 seconds or so, and then it went away. It was a good picture of him, but I received no audio from him, neither on 2 meters nor on the television repeater. So I don't know what happened there. Dick, yeah, submarine communications. I remember seeing a YouTube video not too awfully long ago about a 28-mile long antenna. I don't recall how you'd find that. Don't remember who it was that put that on YouTube. But it seems, if I remember correctly, it was a reasonably long video, maybe on the order of 30 minutes, for sure at least 20 minutes. And they went into something about the history of communications, and then that RF just doesn't propagate well through the water, and the really low frequencies seem to do very well. I'm sure that by now they have better methods of communication, but who knows, it may still be used as a backup or something. It was interesting. They said that subs could be submerged and still hear, plain as day, these audio communications using this 28-mile long antenna. And I don't remember where that was, but I'll bet it's the same thing that you're talking about. It does seem to me like it was somewhere in our part of the country. And let's see, Mustang fixed. That is outstanding. And the fact that they got it fixed all in one fell swoop, that's great. Somehow I never have that luck. I can take the vehicle in for one thing that I'm no longer willing to mess with, and when it comes back, it's either incomplete or waiting parts or something. Anyway, that's great. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. And let's pick up James, WU7N.
Okay, synchronizing now.
U7N in Northeast Bellevue. All right, so it seems like I've got good audio coming on 2 meters again. Yeah, to me it's interesting because I started, once upon a time I remember actually having to study this stuff, but very low frequency is 3 to 30 kilohertz for submarines. But there's another band, extremely low frequency, that's 3 to 300 cycles per second. Excuse me. And so, the physics instructor question is, all that's well within the range of human hearing in terms of frequency, so why don't you hear it? And of course the answer is because you're not disturbing the air. It's an electromagnetic wave that your eardrum can't detect. However, submarines also use essentially sonar, just like their sonar is to radar what radio communication is to undersea communication. They're obviously not too talkative about how far this can be used, but they can use actual sound signals through the water that I guess the whales hear. But the funny story on that is the Russians designed a system that was to sound like the noises that popcorn shrimp made, but then modulated intelligence on top of the popcorn shrimp noise. But I think I got this right. I think the popcorn shrimp live down in tropical waters, And so it was a good idea, except U.S. Sonar operators are wondering why popcorn shrimp were up around the Arctic Circle. So I guess it's important to know your shrimp if you're trying to imitate sounds to modulate information on. Still a clever idea. Anyway, that's my laugh of the night story. But the other thing that's kind of interesting about submarines, I just read this past week, is that China is building a submarine that has no sail on it. Because I guess the reason why sails developed on submarines was because all the stuff that had to be extended, like a sort of a telescope type extension, to get to the surface, like the periscope, and I guess there were snorkels, and there were radio antennas, and eventually there were even radar systems that could extend while the submarine was still submerged. But with the advances in electronics technology, you no longer need to have all that stuff physically extend like a whip antenna or something. Now you can just send some kind of little disguised piece of garbage to float up to the surface and look around, and it can be, at the end of a long piece of fiber optics, and get tremendous amounts of data, whether it's radio data, optical data, radar data, whatever. I guess the Chinese are actually building a full-size submarine that doesn't have a sail on it. I'm kind of wondering how you get into it. They must have a stairwell kind of approach, some sort of a hatch that opens up like that. But anyway, satellite images only. They're not talking about it. So they're certainly experimenting with new things to do new things at sea. Well, let's see. What else has been happening with me? I really haven't been doing too much. I've been trying to get a room over in the Pasco Tri-Cities area. There's a convention over there with a social group. I'm not a member of that social group, but they do a charitable shoot, and I'm a certified range safety officer. So last year I got my room, a couple months before the event. It was just fine. This year I was in the hospital and forgot all about it, and the person that has invited me to do this also apparently forgot about it. So I called today, no rooms in the inn. And it is amazing. You have two choices. Either you're kind of close to what's going on and it's very, very expensive in other hotels or motels, or you're very far, far away and it's less expensive. So I told them I might not make it this year unless somebody cancels or unless I can find some kind of less expensive room. So we'll have to see what happens with all that. So that's all the news that is news here. This is James, WU7N, turning it back to our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society and pushing the big off button right now.
WU7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Boy, talking about that submarine transmission tower. A lot of times when we were flying with Air 4, the helicopter belonging to Channel 4, there was a big antenna array between northeast of Mount Vernon and Bellingham on a hillside. There were 4 big towers that were probably about a half mile apart with a wire arrangement between them. And I remember talking to our pilot and saying, what was that? And he said that was the submarine transmitter towers. Location I can remember, but that was about 25 years ago. I'm sure the site maybe has been taken down or replaced. I don't know. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go back up to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, very good. Dave, I'm pretty sure the antenna array that you're talking about is the same thing that I saw in Google Earth. It sure sounds like it. I sure hope I'm not echoing. I very well could be, but I see I switched video arrangements. It's kind of awkward, but at least I got something. I see a picture of there. Oh yeah, you can see my father-in-law. The United States flag that's folded like they give you after the burial service. That's in the top part of the picture. But I'm still in the afterglow of the exciting first place finish with our racing car in Sonoma last weekend, and then with the appearance of Jay Leno at the event. That was pretty cool. So anyway, and now I've got the green light. The War Department said go for Monterey. I'll be heading for Monterey next weekend to Laguna Seca, where we have a big event. We're on a roll right now. This 2.5 challenge of historic B sedans, 1969, 1970, Datsun 510s, BMWs, and Porsche and Audis. We're right now, out of a group of about 32 of us, we're leading the pack, and we want to keep it that way. And then after Monterey next weekend, we'll be in Seattle, 4th of July. With that, K7ITX, back to Net Control.
K7ITX, I guess you can say, on the road again. Boy, get out there and enjoy that. Let's pick up Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, popcorn shrimp, that's an interesting sound. Yeah, good catch on that. Not in the Arctic. I'll bet a lot of people would not have caught that. That's interesting. So it does pay to know what you're listening for, I suppose. And Chinese submarine without a sail. I heard or saw something on television or on it would have been maybe like on YouTube or a news show, or maybe I saw it and I read it on the computer. I don't know. Anyway, I heard something about that as well, and I'm scratching my head going, huh? So I don't know. I guess we will have more information forthcoming. Dave, Mount Vernon and Bellingham. Yeah, I'm looking at a chart now, and it shows like essentially a high voltage wire line going between Bellingham and about Cedro-Woolley. I wonder if that might be it, or I wonder if it might be torn down, or don't know, but interesting. And Dick, yeah, Monterey next weekend for a race. That sounds like fun. Glad you're able to get out for the weekends anyway. It sounds to me like the dialysis is not slowing you down too terribly much. I'm really glad to hear that, and once again, glad you're having fun with your Mustang there. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Well, let's go pick up James again in Northeast Bellevue, WN7N.
Okay, Dave, coordinating now.
WU7N, Northeast Bellevue.
WU7N, Northeast Bellevue.
Okay, all right. Well, as I recall, there is some big T site that's been decommissioned. Interestingly enough, though, you can't just go up there anytime you want. It's still locked up. And I was looking around for that on the web. Maybe, I don't know if we're coming around pretty fast here with only 4 of us on tonight. Maybe I'll find that and show it to everybody. But as I recall, they took the antennas down. The site is still there. The buildings are still there, but you can't just go up anytime you want. But there are select tours for cleared people or something like that, as I recall. I'll have to search around for that a little bit online. And a lot of people mistake this with the research array that's up in Alaska. That's HARP, H-A-R-P, and that's something completely different. That's actually sending signals, very high-powered signals, straight up into the atmosphere to see what happens to them. Anyway, I'm assuming they still use this, so it's kind of an interesting question. I wonder how they send the signals out now if that site, at least the one up in Bellingham there, if it's no longer in operation. Maybe they've got some other way. It seems to me that if you've got power lines literally strung all over a country, including high-tension power lines, it would seem to me that you could easily superimpose signals on top of those power lines, and those are some very, very long antennas. And since you're kind of using some sort of ground wave anyway that penetrates the ocean as well, that you would be able to go anywhere you wanted, especially with those power levels. But maybe it's not possible to modulate the power levels if they're that high. I don't know. I was just thinking, though, of what are the longest antennas we have in existence in the North American continent, including Alaska, and it would be, I think, the longest continuous ones would probably be high-tension power lines with no transformers in between them. Seems like you could do something useful with that. Well, let's see. What else is going on? I don't have any exciting plans for tomorrow. It's actually going to be kind of a easy kickback day. I'll probably try and go through some boxes around here following Dave's example and see if I can get some things done. At least get some papers shredded. I seem to have an infinite quantity of paper that should have been thrown out a long time ago that somehow never made it to the shredder, and it's all kind of piled up around here. I need to really work on getting rid of that. That would be a giant step forward. And if it's going to be raining tomorrow, that would be a good day to do it. So anyway, that's it for me from Northeast Bellevue. It's 50 minutes after the hour. I guess I'll say for anybody listening now, the Western Washington Amateur Television Society meets 8 p.m. Pacific Coast USA time on Wednesdays and on Saturdays. Anybody's welcome to join, either to check in and check out or join the conversation. Just let Dave know which one you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Dave, our net control. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue, pushing this off button right now.
WU7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Talking about antenna arrays. Up where Bob used to live, there was a federal site there that has all kinds of antennas for federal communications. But also about 30 years ago, just to the west of Sandpoint, Sandpoint facility here in Seattle area, there was a big antenna array that took over 3 city blocks, and it had all kinds of antennas, and they decommissioned that. But that was kind of an awesome wire thing, you might say. That was just Sandpoint Naval Station. It would be west of that and a little bit to the south. And boy, and that was a huge antenna array I remember seeing. So that's about what I can add with antenna arrays. And so I guess we can go back up to Richard, K7ITX.
Well, yeah, just about covered my activity in these reports tonight. It's been a lot of fun talking to between the four of us. I suspect Ron is probably out with the Corvette Club, and we haven't heard from Lee in a while. Maybe you guys saw him. I think there might have been a business meeting that I missed. I guess maybe even today. But anyway, nevertheless, it's been great talking to you guys. I'm trying to get Ron to bring his Corvette out to the track this 4th of July. I think that'd be a lot of fun. He's thinking about it, and hopefully if he gets the green light, I can get him and Joanne with the Corvette out on the road course. I think that'd be awesome. So I'm working on that right now. So I think that's going to be kind of fun. All right, well, I'm just going to have to say 73 because I just about the only other thing I can say is the Mariners won 4-0. So they did lose yesterday, but that's okay. They broke an 8-game winning streak, and so right now, out of 10 games, they're 8-2, or maybe even 9-1. I'm not sure exactly. So again, 73, you guys. Have a great week, and hopefully I'll talk to you Wednesday from the Northwest Kidney Center. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that. Let's go to Covington. Jim,
QO.
N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, papers to shred. Yeah, you had to remind me, didn't you? I've got lots of paper around here to shred. I do have a shredder. It's just that I don't always think about doing that. Boy, I need to get on that. Lately, our church is having a garage sale, so we've been trying to get some stuff together to go out there, some stuff that we don't need anymore. Dave, you inspire me to get stuff together, but we only get inspired on an annual basis here, so that's consuming a lot of our time now. Until the garage sale is going on. And let's see. Oh, yeah. Dave, you were mentioning about where Bob used to live. Yeah, I used to drive by that place when we were meeting at Bob's. That's a FEMA facility, and definitely admired their antennas. I have not seen those which are located in Sandpoint or around Sandpoint. But I always admire antennas. In fact, on my cell phone, as I've been going from place to place, I would take pictures of antennas, and my wife would be looking at the pictures on my phone going, "What are you doing?" And it's like I have pictures of the antennas at the Vatican. So I don't know. I guess some of us, our priorities lie in different areas than most. Flowers, yeah, don't care about flowers. There's mountains and sunsets and all that, but me, I look for antenna pictures. What can I say? And Dick, thanks for mentioning the Mariners won. I missed that. 4-0, that's great. And we'll plan to see you on Wednesday again. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good pictures, good audio from you. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Let's pick up James, WU7N. Get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, K7CYM.
Whiskey Uniform 7 November in Northeast Bellevue.
Whiskey Uniform 7 November in Northeast.
All right. Well, I did find it. It's the Jim Creek Naval Radio Station near Oso, Washington. Famous for almost having washed down the side of a hill. Well, I guess it did kind of completely. But what's kind of interesting is this interesting picture shows the antenna array that's up there. But the way this Wikipedia article talks about it, it talks about like it's still an active working site. They have pictures here, like the building, and then the towers. Because I guess they string the wires. They give it like a capacitative top hat. The horizontal wires go from one mountain to another, and then they've got pictures like here of contractors. They can lower the wires, I guess, and the contractors can actually, they don't have to do like what they do with high tension lines. I guess they can lower the wires, and the contractors can work on them. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. Also interesting, when I use this iPhone camera, the monitor function that I'm looking at here has all sorts of wavy interference lines off the monitor, but those are lost when they're retransmitted because I'm looking at my own picture there, and you can't see them. So that's kind of interesting. So, like, for example, if I were to click on this, that's the building, and in the lower right, you can see a car. There's a car right down there. So that is a big, big building. So anyway, well, I see we're at the top of the hour now, so I'll turn it back to Dave, our net control. Appreciated chatting with you guys tonight. Always enjoy it. And look forward to hearing you next Wednesday. This is James, WU7N. Back to you, Dave.
WU7M, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. With that, we're going to terminate the net this evening at 9 o'clock. This has been the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, transmitting in digital amateur television DVB-D format. So with that, we're clear at 9 o'clock. Good evening, all.